So we're organizing this. We're also moving on the. This is not really necessary. We have more important things. Those folders just have reorganized files already on this. That's silly. Instead, it's also probably already everything uploaded already, so just wasting space. So this is getting handled. We have a series of other things. The papers, the photos organized and separate in previous days, which you can also use to make sure that everything stays further safe. Um, the paper things, we kind of run out of paper, which means we essentially just figured out a new way to brainstorm. Well, keep all the things in most of the clean paper instead of trying to do everything in very tiny spaces and just clog ourselves up. Different strategies now. So as I said, I'm scared because I was listening to Mulam, and before I was listening to the other side, which both hyped me up quite a lot. So very easy to identify the strategies being thrown. So scared to compare the references for the military criminals concerned with the things that I do when I do it. So as for this, after that we have the entire redesign of the folders as they work, plus the updates on the tag system, plus the creating those flashcards for new what do you call evidence handling protocols, so we can just streamline everything and not get stuck like we got today. I didn't go back in time to biblical times as of yesterday, and none of those things got done. So they sure as hell got their hand for the narcotics that they threw on me. Spend money and resources doing so, got incriminating themselves because it got shown with other faces. Truly can see that someone particularly clever amongst the piss in the shit. So again, but again, as I said, it's not like they don't have a. You have to go all the way back to yesterday just to get reference to the other option. That's essentially the behavior of torture days, which now can also be handled better because with this system we can process evidence even if you cannot think it at all. The whole system, the YouTube tags, everything else is designed to be able make us able to process evidence and be able to work and document things even if the drugs are just disabling me. Because essentially it's what they do. Um, so at face value for the very argument of those things and accusations about them, we just handling them. As for the rest, um, this and no, this is not bragging. Much to the contrary, or maybe a little bit. But the issue is, as I said to you, sunlight is the best disinfectant, and something else far more important, which I will not say here, you get to see through this and note that they continue to throw the drugs at risk, even out of free sedatives. It would just man up and try to process things. Have follicle for them. As for the evidence at hand to try to, most things are already uploaded to YouTube to begin with and not recording that much on this phone. The other phone is still there doing its duty and recording my face and my expression and the rest. Now we're gonna go down there to get lunch. Not even because I'm necessarily hungry. We could just buy the nuggets here. Although I don't have the money to waste. The simple reality is, I promised myself this, and you pay off for rewarding yourself for those things. And that's the whole reason why the most prosperous countries in the world today follow those things should not essentially crush workers to death as well. The overwork instead allowing for more flexible goals. Not that this is work, but it's back to the functional research. I remember when I was telling Tanya something on those lines, like I'm working essentially, and at the end of the day, this is clearly not here for the sense of the sickness and perverted stuff that they would say. But you know what? I don't even know what I'm saying. So you can clearly see that I'm still impaired, and I don't doubt that many of those things are gonna see change, which is why with the things that did before kind of work. Like, we're not making any definitive things here. We know they're not competent enough to do definitive things as of this moment. All I can do is come up with ideas that later can associate and try to finish ideas that we have done already before, like the tax system. That's how we do multi-alpha things. Não, eu não quero isso. Someone just showing up on the table, and I wanted to almost did show to you, which would have not quite ruin it, just being weird. Instead, no. We just treated the drug criminals for the criminals and kept the phone close to the right hand. As you do, someone just pokes in the table for you. But it's okay though, they're gonna say that the actor saying something like that is pretty relevant, pretty normal, more or less. So, as I said, even if the tamperings with evidence as of happening now, um, you're gonna listen to that either way. So, again, you're gonna listen to that, you're gonna listen to the tampered version. Most importantly, it's still supposed to have no solution. You know, most of those things are also made up now, which means that to this point, the most comedic way possible, the criminals should have no fucking clue. And you know that they don't, because or else they would have, you know, again, not gonna fuck up now, but and truly indeed, you're gonna see soon enough the person that shit having again a temper tantrum or stop underestimating us or something similar to that you would expect from a cartoon character. The issue is for real. Not different than that crime shooting, unlike all the other things. Not like the consequences. Proof of that now, even impaired, even making mistakes, even able to think, well, comes criminal that, which you just not instantaneously do what I've been doing for a while. You should document it on the other phone for what it's worth. And to be fair, one more criminal face that can make the road decision. The marker itself is much better evidence for a video uploaded immediately on YouTube than a random face of the millions you already have of power. That's the power. I think you're gonna care about any of them particular individually, you know. They probably would. Faz com ele de novo, esse grande que aí isso aí é coisa pra noite mesmo. That's is that the volume? Yeah. On the headphones, those headphones actually keep the volume pretty good. The other one is pretty low. That's what I'm listening to. I cannot listen to anything else around. I heard the word that she said. I didn't hear anything else. But that one that was talking in my face right next to me. I heard the one word at first because I don't know what it is. It's basically just saying the name of the thing. Other than that, Oh, you see this entire segment of this area just filling up with 250. Are they throwing something in the cat as well? Wow, again. Don't forget the animal culture. I mentioned a lot of the drug crimes and the other dehumanization, more crimes, they say. Crimes against humanity, if that is. Don't forget the animal culture as well. As I said, that's the now I'm very confident that this was designed by the criminals, which showcase a remarkable misunderstanding of people's impression of things that also you usually don't want to portray yourself as King George, particularly if something be seen by an American audience. I mentioned that before. You see how impaired I am. I am actually incredibly impaired, as you can notice right now. It's not my choice. Not something I would brought by myself. I did choose to not go over them. And you got to see the developments as they go, which are not final, but they are the first step, foundational step, should develop a new system that can organize the things in a practical way. Not so complicated, because that's a concern that I had for the entire thing. It doesn't get too overcomplicated. Something as simple as you flip a flashcard, as you saw there, and at the same time, as efficient, as able to portray the gamut of. They're not actually that different from each other, the crimes. As I said, you can just put everything in a giant tag bag, but the seriousness of each crime individually, to the point where I feel like any of those things be almost as good as individually be usual, but realistically speaking, um, what you want is to showcase you how a day in this how it is, and you got to see that through this podcast. So again, not something that I would want to do myself. I can barely think anything. Even notice some physical sensations in my eye, but for what it's worth, for the full-blown assault with criminals around me, as well as narcotics and other drugs, I'd say it was not that bad, as it goes. That's okay though, they're gonna say too, this is all consensual and it was designed this way, by me, against me. So, again, this is just an off case scenario that doesn't stick.